This is Superyacht News. In association with Go Earth, navigating boat buyers to better deals. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. With me, E. Sisman, 25-year veteran of the maritime industry. Please forgive my eye today. I've got an eye issue. I don't know whether you can see it actually on camera, but my eye's playing up. If I'm blinking weirdly, that's why. So, big news from the industry. Oceanco, one of the most high-profile yacht builders in the industry, has been sold. I didn't even know it was for sale, but it's been bought by somebody that I think the person who's bought it is more surprising than the fact that it's been sold. I guess the saying that anything's for sale at the right price still rings true, right? But the buyer of the company is Gabe Newell, the American video game developer. He has actually purchased Oceanco. They just put out a statement today, the company has. Now, Oceanco, no introduction needed there, built a number of high-profile superyachts, even in the last few years, including Jeff Bezos and his yacht Koru, the largest privately owned sailing yacht in the world. They also built Chaos, which is owned by Nancy Walton Lowry. It was called Jubilee initially, but they built that vessel too. They've also built a sailing yacht Black Pearl, which is the second largest privately owned sailing yacht in the world. So they know their sailing yachts, they know their motor yachts. They also built Bravo Eugenia, which is a yacht that you might remember from a video I did last year where they had a wedding in Monaco and the yacht was basically covered in flowers. Must have been $500,000 worth of flowers on board that vessel. But anyway, these are some of the yachts that they've built. Now, the owner, or the new owner, should I say, Gabe Newell, he is a serial yacht owner. He's probably mostly known for his yacht Rocinante. That's worth about $100 million, 76 meters, 260 feet. Before you ask, Rocinante is the name of a spaceship in a TV show. But I see that comment a lot when I mention this yacht. But the name actually comes from the book Don Quixote. That was the name of his horse in that book. Now, that's the boat that he's mostly known for. He also owned a support vessel called Dabble, which is now called Wingman, which is now owned by Mark Zuckerberg. Other yachts that he also owns that you might not be aware of is the vessel Tranquility, which was previously involved in a big crime thing. It was seized from the previous owner and sold by the government. I think it was the Thai government. And he owns that vessel. He's renamed it Draak, D-R-A-A-K, which I believe, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is a Dutch word that describes a mythical beast, usually large-winged, fire-breathing reptile, or a dragon to you and me. And he also has a yacht still in build with Oceanco, not surprisingly now, Project Y722. That yacht was originally ordered by a Russian, but because of the sanctions, couldn't be completed. He purchased that slot or that vessel it was already started. They'd already laid the keel, but it was still in build. That's I think that's in final fitting right now, and that's going to be launched soon. That's a 111-meter yacht, I believe. It's over 100 meters anyway. And so he still owns a number of yachts. I might have missed a couple out. He also owns 2 research vessels as well, with submarines on them and stuff like that. He's a bit like Paul Allen character. So that's a number of yachts that he's got. Now, the previous owners, the Bawani family, they also own another shipyard, Turquoise Yachts. That is the leading Turkish custom yacht builder. So they are remaining invested in the yachting industry. Anyway, we'll move on to our next story. We've got a quick update on Motor Yacht Luminosity. Now, you might remember we've done a few videos on this recently. The vessel's in Montenegro. It's not being cared for. It's got a very small skeleton crew on board and not able to tidy up that vessel very well. And as a result, it's in a really dilapidated state right now. The update is the owner, Andrei Guriev, he had a license to allow him to sell the yacht under the sanctions rules. That license expired. There was no buyer. He's applied for a new license. Now, the reason why that's a concern to some people it's because there is a number of people, including crew and former crew and other suppliers in the area that have supplied fuel and other things to the vessel that have not been paid. The vessel has been arrested in Montenegro for that reason. Now, one of the things that Bonetti said is that we had put false information in our previous video. And when we asked them what it was, they said that the vessel was arrested because they owed a lot of money. They said that was false. Well, we've seen the paperwork, and the paperwork says that the outstanding monies from all of those people that we listed comes to almost $1 million, and the court has put interest payments on top of the money owed. So, and as a result, it's over $1 million. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money to me. So anyway, the good news is that according to the lawyers representing those interested parties, is that if the yacht is sold, then all of that will need to be settled by the owner before the vessel is allowed to leave. So that's the good news there. Also that the courts in Montenegro are on leave in August, so nothing's going to happen in August, in other words. All right, I wanted to move on to another thing, something that's it seems to be an epidemic now, and that's to do with AIS, as you all know, Automatic Identification System. I'll put a link in this video, actually. We made a video maybe a year ago all about AIS, how it works. It's the most comprehensive AIS video that I think that is on YouTube right now. If you want to know everything about AIS, check that video out. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because, and I've mentioned it in a previous video, that some of the AIS brokers, if you like, these companies that make these websites where you can go and follow yachts, such as Marine Traffic. Marine Traffic is the most popular one, right? And we've mentioned in the past that we don't rely on them because sometimes yachts are removed from there because of, because the people who own those yachts want their privacy, and then they threaten them with legal action if they don't remove the yacht. And this has happened with a number of vessels. One of the vessels that you'll never find on there, Motor Yacht Symphony, for the same reason, owner Bernard Arnoux. And the latest one is Motor Yacht Anna. Now it's called Ambassador. Apparently it was sold by Dmitry Robolev, which I'm a little bit skeptical about whether it actually did change hands, but that's what the official word is, that it's under new ownership. Now, we noticed that we couldn't find it on Marine Traffic recently when we were looking at it. Was in Palma without AIS showing, and we looked it up on Marine Traffic. No sign of it. There was not only no sign of it, but it was like it didn't exist. If you type in the IMO number, you can search by IMO. Those numbers never change, even when a vessel changes hands. No sign of it. So we contacted Marine Traffic and said, what's the deal with this vessel? And after a few days, they came back to us and said, yeah, we've removed it because of legal threats. And I can kind of understand it because, no one wants to have a legal battle. And if it was Dmitry Robolev who did it, he bought a painting and he sued the owner or the seller of the painting or a person who told him to buy it because it was worth X amount of money. And this is the painting, the lost Leonardo da Vinci painting. And he then sued him because he said that he'd overvalued it. And whilst that lawsuit was going on, he sold the painting to Mohammed bin Salman for like 4 times what he paid for it. So, and the lawsuit continued. I don't know what happened with that lawsuit, but he was still suing the guy saying he overvalued it because he bought it for like 130 million or something. So he's happy to spend a lot of money on lawsuits. So I can kind of understand why they did it. But at the same time, it makes the system that they're selling, because we pay for it. If you want to follow satellite tracking, you have to pay, right? It makes it unreliable for people like us. So we have a backup system so we can check and see if the vessel is actually broadcasting AIS. Sometimes they just switch off AIS, which I'm going to get onto in a minute with a different ship or different yacht. So yeah, that's a problem. So if you try to search for Anna Ambassador, even by its IMO number, you will not find any sign of it on Marine Traffic. Same with Symphony. If there's any other yachts you know of, let me know. Now, I'll move on to this other subject, Motor Yacht Blue. This is owned by Sheikh Mansour from the UAE. He also now apparently owns Motor Yacht Flying Fox. Now, both of those vessels are currently in Greece. They both have the AIS switched off. And they switched them off on the same day, 24th of July, after they went through Messina Straits, which you have to have the AIS on for. As soon as they came out the other side, heading east, they both switched off the AIS within a few hours of each other. I'll show you on the AIS track here. Now, they physically turned off the AIS because our other source, which never gets turned off regardless, it shows that they're also missing from that as well. They're in Kalamata in Greece right now. We know this because of our excellent contributors all around the world that send us photographs and stuff. We got a photograph here showing them both there at anchor. Now, they both switched off the AIS. And I mean, Flying Fox all hand at switching off AIS by now, right? Because they did it. They were avoiding sanctions for a few years until the vessel was sold. Now, we knew it was sold to an unknown UAE person. Now we kind of know who it is, Sheikh Mansour. But, you know, why are they switching off the AIS? Because he's too important to have his AIS on, right? Now, when I say they're switching it off, I mean they're actually physically switching it off on board, which is not allowed by the International Maritime Organization, right? So they're actually in violation. The only loophole is if they feel like the vessel is in danger, or if by broadcasting AIS it could put the vessel in danger, which in the Mediterranean I think it's very hard would be very hard to win that case in court, right? So Blue is a massive mega yacht, 160 meters, 520 feet. 15,300 gross tons. It's one of the probably 3 largest yachts by volume in the world now. And it can carry, apparently, according to Super Yacht Fan, it can carry 48 guests. Now, if that's the case, it's actually has to be classed as a passenger vessel because the maximum you can have on a yacht is 36. But if we go to the IMO database, it says it's registered as a yacht. Now, what a lot of these vessels do to get around the numbers is they say that some of these guest cabins are staff cabins, and I'll give you an example. Victorious, multi-yacht Victorious has a number of cabins which are done to guest standards, but they're classed as staff cabins, and it's a little bit of a way to get around. And they say, well, they're not for guests, they're for staff, and then you put guests in it, right? I'm not saying that that's what Blue is doing, or I'm not saying that that's what Victorious is doing either, but that's a way to get around those regulations. It's possible that the number that Super Yacht Fan got is including some staff cabins. Like I said, Flying Fox now apparently owned by Sheikh Mansour as well. So that could be one of the largest support vessels in the world because that's 136 meters as well. So that's a massive yacht as well. It's also one of the biggest yachts in the world, right? But yeah, I don't know what it is with this AIS turning off. It doesn't seem to be any penalty at all to turning off the AIS. Because nothing ever happens. You know, if they crash into something, that'll be a different story. All right, guys, it's Friday, so we're going to do a Friday Yotspot. I'm going to talk also about another craze amongst super yacht owners lately, and that's covering up the name. Now, the first time I saw this was was with some of the Russian vessels, like Scheherazade, covering up its name. Now, just FYI, it's illegal to cover the name of the vessel on the vessel must be shown on the stern of the vessel. Sorry, the name must be shown on the stern of the vessel when the vessel's at sea. It's a regulation that it has to be there. What these other vessels are doing, apparently, is covering the name when they go into port, like Samsara, owned by Harry Potter, or the writer of Harry Potter. That I've had a number of photographs sent in at different times, and I'll put some on screen. And it shows the names covered up. Another one, I just got this one in from our Super Yacht News sponsor, Go Earth Boat Sales, and he sent in some photographs from Montenegro, and it shows multi-yacht Chaos with the name covered. Chaos, that massive blue yacht owned by Nancy Walton Laurie, they've got the name covered there as well. I think they might be laid up in Montenegro. Montenegro is a nice loophole to lay up in because it's outside of the EU, and that's why it's so that's one of the reasons why it's so popular. It's got very good port facilities there as well. But the vessels there, covering the name of Chaos to try and hide the name of it. It's a bit like a giraffe wearing sunglasses to disguise the fact that it's a giraffe, right? It's crazy. But yeah, it's a weird new thing that's happening with vessels covering the name like that. Anyway, like I said, picture of Chaos there. By the way, if you're sending in stuff for Yotspot and you want to be credited, please make sure you put your name as the credit, what you wanted to say as a credit. It can be whatever you want, All right, next on the list, we've got Sailing Yacht Koru. This is, again, unknown. This is Jeff Bezos' sailing yacht, 127 meters, which is over 400 feet. I think it's 415 feet. And this is in Saint-Tropez, in front of Club 55, I'm told. And next, we've got some yachts in Monaco. These are sent in by Nathan Marks. The next two vessels, both sent in by Nathan. Thanks, everyone, for sending this stuff in. Obviously, Alfa Nero needs no introduction. It's weird to see it back in Monaco now, after all that time spent in Antigua, right? All those lawsuits going on. Also, the daughter of Andrei Guriev, who popped up and said it was her vessel, also filed a lawsuit against the Yildirim. The Yildirims are the ones that own Axioma, and they bought Alfa Nero as well. So, and the next vessel, motor yacht Yaz, also in Monaco, like I said, sent in by Nathan Marks. Now, this is a former Dutch frigate, Royal Netherlands Navy. It was HNLMS. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Piet Hein. I'll put it on the screen. It was later bought by the UAE and used as a frigate, and then it was sold and converted into a yacht, and then it was finished and delivered in 2015. So that's actually the hull of a frigate. And most of the superstructure has been replaced. So, but yeah, anyway, thanks for everyone who sent in that stuff. If you sent any of this in and you're like, hey, that's my stuff and I didn't get a credit, let us know and we'll put your name on it. So if we ever use it again, you'll get credited. All right, guys, be sure to check us out on patreon.com/eSysman. We just put a video on there today. We put on, I think, 3 videos this week, and we put a lot of behind the scenes stuff on there. We also do videos where we talk about the same stories that we do in the news, but they're much more relaxed, and there's much more information because there's a much more informal sort of way of talking on there. Be sure to check that out, patreon.com/eSysman. If you've got any information for us, send it to the email address in the ticket. If you've got videos, preferably videos or photos, and you want to send them to us, use the WeTransfer link as well. That link is also in the description, so if you can just click on it and then it'll take you straight there. You don't need an account, by the way. All right, guys, it's Friday, so have a great weekend, whatever you're doing. If you're working on a yacht, I envy you. I wish I was on one right now. And, be sure to go out on deck and take in that sunset or that sunrise. And that's one of the special moments about being on a yacht. But wherever you are anyway, have a great weekend. And we've got a podcast coming out on Sunday, by the way. So look out for that, 2:00 GMT. All right. Bye-bye.